Welcome everyone to another episode of Must Have Comic Books. For this week, we're looking at the books for October 16th, 2019. And I say hi to all my current subscribers and all of my viewers. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I would advise you to please subscribe. Give it a thumbs up, like it, and if you feel like sharing it, please share it with everyone and anyone that loves comic books. And I'd just like to thank everybody. The last few videos for Must Have Comic Book Week have been getting a lot of views, much more than they usually do. And I'd just like to thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I know I'm not the most enthusiastic voice you might hear on YouTube. And my wife says that I need to be a little bit more enthusiastic, but maybe I'll bring her on the show if she would want to come. I think she did suggest that, but we shall see. But got a few things I would like to talk to you about. Since I'm only usually doing one video a week, I like to talk about a few things. I don't go live or anything like that, but New York Comic Con was last week. We weren't able to go, but Trung, the owner of the LCS that I frequent, Bailey's Comics out here in Long Island in Lindenhurst, he gave me 6 books, 6 giveaways that the retailers had. And I give a shout out to Bailey's Comics. They always take care of me. Been taking care of me for over 30 years? Yeah, something like that. But over there at the New York Comic Con, Marvel had a line of books that they showed was soon to be coming out for 2020. And they had a few books called The End before. I believe they had The Incredible Hulk, The End, Fantastic Four, The End, Wolverine, The End, and Marvel, The End. And now they got another line of books that they're coming out with The End on it. And they have Captain America, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, Miles Morales, which looks really cool with the gray beard, Captain Marvel, and Venom. And Venom looks ridiculous. But we're definitely looking forward to that. The character Star from the current Captain Marvel run, she's getting her own series. I believe it's a mini series. And if you would look really close at the first picture of her face, she looks so evil. It's kind of funny. But I guess we can look forward to that if you're into that. Guardians of the Galaxy is being rebooted with another #1. Excuse me. And I believe that's being written by Al Ewing. And just looking at the cover, obviously Rocket Raccoon is not dead, and he has become a member of Miami Vice. I guess the Dawn of X, I guess they're calling it, is having a wave 2 of books, and Wolverine will be the first one out of the gate for that. I didn't write who the writer is for that, but Adam Kubert is drawing it, so we can definitely look for some slam bang, really old school Wolverine type of stuff there. But I guess it'll be a new school type of thing since Jonathan Hickman is part of this reboot. And to me, one of the biggest announcements that they had was Thor by Donny Cates and Nick Klein. And oh man, this cover by Oliver Cople is just ridiculous. I love it when he draws Thor anyway. But with all of the cosmic things going on in that, and now that Donny Cates has it, you can definitely know that he's gonna continue on with the cosmic run and the symbiote and all of that Jason Aaron had started. I usually don't do this, but Daredevil #12 came out last week, and so glad that Marco Ciccetta was back on the artwork. But this book has out of the gate been hot, and this issue had a nice balance coming back to both Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk after trying to save the man dressed up as Daredevil. Matt Murdock is just taking a beating, not, just so self-conscious of the death that had occurred and everything like that. And now he's going to get trained by Elektra, which is cool. And Kingpin, I guess just sick and tired of people pulling his skirt up. Kill somebody in his bathroom. So we're getting the old Daredevil back and we're getting the old Kingpin back. It'd really be nice. Is Charles Soule writing Daredevil? Somebody correct me or let me know who's writing Daredevil right now. I'm lost. But that's really, really great. So enough of my ranting for all those that are still listening. We're going to start off, as always, with DC Comics. We got Aquaman 53 by Kelly Sue DeConnick and Robson Rocha. And this book is great. I like Aquaman anyway. But it's definitely a book you should think about getting if you haven't. Cover A is by Robson Rocha and cover B. And I guess all of these variants for DC are like the Halloween or deceased variants. And Rafa Sandoval is doing cover B. Batman 81 by Tom King and John Romita Jr. I will reserve my judgment. Cover A is by John Romita Jr. and cover B is by Francesco Mattina. Flash Forward number 2 by Scott Lobdell and Brett Booth. Cover A is by Evan Shaner and cover B is by In-Huk Lee. This book, I think, because of Crisis, I think a lot of people are sleeping on it, that Heroes in Crisis, but I think this book is going to be very important, and I would say pick it up now while you have the chance, while everybody's sleeping on it. Justice League 34 by Scott Snyder, James Tynion, and Jim Chung. Should be very interesting. Cover A is by Francis Manapul, and cover B is by Francesco Mattina. And I would like to see what he used to trace this magnificent cover. Superman Year One number 3 by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. John Romita Jr. is doing cover A, and Frank Miller is doing cover B. This is one of those like it or love it type of books, but I like it, so I'm going to stick to my guns, like I always do. Tales of the Multiverse, Batman Nightfall by Scott Snyder and Javier Fernandez, and this is like a Elseworlds, I guess, but it's rehashing older stories of what it would be like, I guess, now in the current continuity if these stories had happened. Teen Titans 35 by Adam Glass and Bernard Chang. Bernard Chang is doing cover A, and Lee Garbett is doing cover B. For Image Comics, we only have one book, and that is Excellence, number 6 by Brandon Thomas and Carrie Randolph. Carrie Randolph is doing cover A, and Ashley Wood is doing the Art of Excellence cover for cover B. For our independent books, we got a few here. We got Killers number 4 by B. Clay Moore and Fernando Dagnino. John Boy Myers is doing cover A. David Nakayama is doing cover B. And Rick Leonardi is doing cover C. Once and Future number 3 by Karen Gillian and Dan Mora. And pretty much if you haven't gotten this book, you're just lost. Number 1 was reprinted 6 times. And I finally got my 6th print of issue 1 since I was unable to get the rest of them. And the last of our independent books is Something is Killing the Children number 2 by James Tynion and Weatherdale Idara. Idara is doing cover A, and Ian Bertram is doing cover B. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right. But anyway, let us continue. Going on to our favorites always. Well, they're all our favorites, right? Marvel Comics, we have Absolute Carnage number 4 by Donny Cates and Ryan Stigman. Ryan Stigman is doing cover A. Ron Lim is doing cover B. Cover C, I think, is an incentive cover. Cult of Carnage of the new Demi-Goblin by Nick Bradshaw. Cover D is the Codex variant. Is that the Anti-Venom? I think it is. And cover E is the action figure variant of the Immortal Venom Hulk. Black Panther and the Agents of Wakanda #2 by Jim Zub and Lan Medina. Cover A is by Jorge Medina, and cover B is by David Lopez. Didn't read issue #1 of this, but it seems like it's all right. Captain America #15 by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Jason Masters. Alex Ross is doing a phenomenal job on these cover A's, and Adam Hughes gives us a Mary Jane Watson variant for cover B. Captain Marvel 11, and what was it, since 8 or 9? You should be picking this book up just in case. And this is by Kelly Thompson and Carmen Nunez Carnero. My cover A is the Mary Jane Watson variant by Elizabeth Tork. The Mark Brooks variant is my cover B. And cover C is Philip Tan variant, which they have 2 different versions of this cover. And I think that's by Comics Exposure, or something like that. Guardians of the Galaxy #10 by Donnie Cates and Corey Smith. Is this the last issue for this, or is it in December? It's either... Yeah, I believe this issue ends in December, this book. And that is by, cover A is by Patrick Zetscher, and cover B is by Arthur Adams, and that is the Mary Jane Watson variant. We have History of the Marvel Universe #4 by Mark Waid and Javier Rodriguez. Javier Rodriguez is doing cover B. I'm sorry, been written backwards. And Steve McNiven is doing cover A. And I'm hearing some really good things about this book. So I just been stacking it because it's almost like reading the Marvel Universe. But something I think you should keep in reserve. Savage Sword of Conan #10 by Jim Zub and Patrick Zetscher. Marco Cicchetto is doing cover A, and B is an incentive cover, and that is by John McCree. Marvel Tales Ghost Rider #1 by Roger Stern and Bob Budinsky. Excuse me, and cover A is by In-Huk Lee. I don't know if this is a reprint or anything like that, but pick it up. And one of the super big books, pretty hot right here, is this Spider-Man #2 by J.J. and Henry Abrams and Sarah Pacelli. Cover A is by Oliver Kopel, and cover B is an incentive cover by Sarah Pacelli. And just reading House of X and Powers of 10, after reading issue 1 of this Spider-Man book, I don't know where they're going with this, and I guess they'll probably bring Lil Ben Parker into the Spider-Verse, but he is a mutant because he was born with his spider powers, which I would thought that was kind of like, because in all of the variant futures and stuff, Peter Parker has always had a daughter. And it's nice to see that he has a son in this, and he is showing spider abilities. And that makes him a mutant. So I'm wondering if he's on a list with Franklin Richards and all of them like that. It's pretty cool. Big book of the week, X-Men #1 by Jonathan Hickman and Lionel Francis Yu. Obviously, we know this is a must-have for almost everybody. Lionel Yu is doing cover A. Ji Hung Lee is doing cover B. Cover C is a Young Guns variant by Marco Cicchetto of Magneto. Cover D is what they are calling the design variant. Cover E is by Mark Brooks. Cover F is in Draw All Mutants cover by Mark Bagley. Cover G is an incentive cover. I don't know if it's a 1 in 25 or something like that by Wolves Patarcio. Cover H is by Stan Lee Artgerm. And cover I is by Wu Chu Lee. And there are probably dozens of other covers on various different websites. So you have your pick. And that is it for the week. For our covers of the week, I'm going with Killers number 4, the David Nakayama cover. Justice League, frog in my throat, number 34 by Francesco Mattina. We have Captain America 15, the cover A by Alex Ross. And got 3 covers from X-Men number 1. The Art Germ cover, the Weapon X, or I don't know what name she's going by nowadays, the all-new Girl Wolverine, by Ji-Hoon Lee, and what is that? The Mark Brooks Party variant, I guess. And my number 1 cover of the week is Captain Marvel 11, of course, by Mark Brooks. And as for our books of the week, I'm going with Once and Future number 3. Gotta read it. Excellence number 6, which is my hip-hop Harry Potter, which is super dope. Spider-Man number 2 by the Abrams and Pacelli. And of course, X-Men number 1 by Jonathan Hickman. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Must Have Comic Books. And I will catch you at the same bad time and at the same bad channel. Peace.